So I don't even know exactly what I'm making this video about. Well, I haven't decided entirely in my head, but I know I want to talk about um, spirituality and what that means to me. Because I don't think people understand what real spirituality is and that it's attainable for anyone. And all it really is happiness, love. It's love. It's finding the love within yourself. But we get caught up in the ego. And for people who don't know what the ego is, there's a psychological definition for it, but it's actually much bigger than just the Freudian definition of the superego, the id, and all that. It's actually the ego is most. So the ego, it's like it can be programmed, and it gets programmed over time by trauma. So we hold on to trauma. The ego does. It holds on to. It's just the ego is just a concept in the mind um, of who we think we are. That we don't really examine very closely, and we just assume that our past is us. We assume I am my thoughts, I am my emotions, I am my past traumas and all this stuff, and that's who I am. That's who Matt is. But it's a lie. It's not really who we are at all. That's just who we're telling our ego is telling ourselves that we are, and who we are actually is infinite. Can I can't talk today. In, infinite consciousness. That's actually who we really are. We are all one. This can be proven by experiments. I always talk about there's overwhelming evidence of God. It's not the God that you think of that sits in the clouds and judges everybody and sends them to heaven or hell. God is you. God is me. God is everything. We forget we are God. We are part of an infinite intelligence. And if you look beneath every religion, the root of it is always this. It's always the same. In every culture, they may have had different gods that they prayed to, different symbology, but they used whatever worked for their culture. But they were doing the same thing. They were all reaching the same place. Like the ancient Egyptians focused a lot on the pineal gland, which is the third eye, which is something with certain yogic techniques and energy work. You can actually feel the energy that is in your body and send it up there, because the entire universe is just different from what we have been told and led to believe. Yes, it's somewhat those things that we're led to believe it is, but it's also, that's just part of what we can see when they're right and not lying to you. That's just just part of what we can see. And I'm gonna borrow a term from, I forget the guy's name, Connor Murphy, I think his name is. Yeah, that's it. He's going through a big spiritual awakening right now. This is happening all over the world, okay? So people are experiencing this energy which has been felt before in ancient times of pure bliss. And people are waking up from the dream that the ego to the reality that life is a dream which we create, and our ego causes us to think negative thoughts that then manifest in that reality because it holds on to trauma, and we then identify with those emotions and that trauma instead of just letting it pass, which is what we're supposed to do. I mean, think about it. Like, if you spill something on your shorts, do you feel happy if you get really angry about it and stay upset about it all day? No, then it screws up your day. Well, what screwed up your day? Did spilling the coffee on your shorts screw up your day? Or did you screw it up by getting upset over such a tiny little thing instead of just letting it go and going on to being happy? The ego keeps you from happiness. The ego always wants to be right. Oh, and the line I was going to tell you from Connor Murphy is that we think reality is in our minds, I'm sorry. We think that the reality we see in our minds is all there is. But the truth is, we know there's much more to reality, like Wi-Fi waves. We're just made that we can't see in radio waves. We're just made to see a small section of light for our brains. That's all we're meant to see. That doesn't mean that's all there is. And we know that. I mean, quantum physics proves there's an entire quantum physics to me is like a view into a level beneath the reality where things work completely differently. And that's just one level. And I'm sure there's more, in every way. Because that, like I said, that one's kind of beneath Newtonian physics. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of people online who talk about this. Mike Chang, Sasha Daygame, whose social challenge I've been doing. That's really awesome. It's really been helping me to get out of my identity, because your identity is not doing you any good. Think about it. Unless you're like you have all the happiness you want in the world, it's not fulfilling you. You should have that happiness. You're meant to have that happiness. That's what I mean when I say God made us to be happy. It's not some like dogmatic belief. It's literally just be who you want to be. And me telling you that it's possible. And this is how I found it, and other people have found it. So it's a very vast subject, but I just wanted to touch upon it today because, yeah, I've been going through this. I've been discovering just how much we put ourselves in a prison mentally. And all this stuff has really been helping to get rid of pain in my body, to get over just bad things that happen, because life happens. But you got to go on with life. What we do is we store the trauma, and we hold on to the trauma instead of holding on to the moment, which is the only place life is. Anytime your mind's in the past or the future, you're in misery. That's where hell is. And look around. Are we creating heaven or hell on the world right now? You tell me. So I think this stuff is more important than ever. And I think, in a way, I really think that's what's meant to happen here with all this, is that I'm starting to look at it as a good thing and as an opportunity to reach people, to get them to question their reality. Because I guarantee you're believing in a lot of false shit. Germ theory. Well, so what's that? Is that a fact? Or is it a theory? What's a theory? Exactly. So, smart, honest people will know the answer to that question. If you lie to yourself, you're going to just dismiss it and probably get mad at me or something, but just for bringing it up, which is, I've learned, which is what happens with people. I just bring up uncomfortable truths that they have trouble with, and they can't deal with it. And, but it's okay. Like, it's okay. I'm learning to become better at it. I'm learning to become calmer myself with talking about it. And it needs to happen. I mean, it's going to be a little uncomfortable at first. But nothing's more uncomfortable than not being happy and being miserable all the time and thinking you must just keep going. And, I got to get this next thing done in life. And, putting all this pressure on ourselves. That's not fun. But that's life. Or at least that's what we're led to believe is life. And I've been discovering that's not life at all. And since I've been doing that, my voice has opened up. I've been able to get rid of tension in my mind. That's why you're thinking me sing much better and bigger and doing whatever I want, because now I can think it and it can happen. That's how men are supposed to be, by the way. And women. Anybody who wants to be themselves in the world. You have to First think it and see it so hard in your brain that you then make it happen. That's how I wrote every song. Okay? Yeah, I do think it came to me from a higher place now. But nonetheless, I had to channel it. And I had to think it and see it in my head. It had to be sent. I believe it's sent to us because I don't really think of it when I write songs. They just kind of come to me. And every great creator has always said that. And Michael Jackson attributed all his songwriting, dancing ability, talent, and success to God. He didn't take credit. I mean, he took some credit, as the person, but because he wrote it, and arranged it and produced it. And he's the one who inspired me to write my own music in the beginning. Now a lot of people inspire me, but he definitely still majorly inspires me. And I used to think that was childish of Michael Jackson, to think that. But really, I was the one being childish too. I was being in my ego, which always makes you act like a big baby, thinking, oh, he doesn't know he created it. How cute. I thought it was childlike. But no, Mike knew what he was talking about. And every other creator does too. And if you just can get to the state, you can receive things. And you just feel better. You're just a lot happier, and you can do anything you think of. It's just fear. It's just fear, and we've let it run our lives, and it's just ego, and we've let that run our lives, and it doesn't have to be that way. So, check out those people I linked you to. I'll just end it there for now, so hopefully that made sense to somebody, and if not, it's okay. But I understood what I said, so you should too. And if you have any questions, ask them below. Check out those people I mentioned. This is happening. This is really happening. And we're going to go one of two ways, societally. Okay? So do you want to be on the asleep side, or do you want to be on the awake side that's happy and loving life? That's really the only question you need to ask yourself right now. So, which one?